Imagine the universe not as a vast emptiness, but as a ballroom echoing with the music of creation, a dance that began long before memory and will continue long after time forgets our names. This is the secret heartbeat of existence, pulsing behind galaxies, stars, oceans, and the silent turning of your own heart. Everything, from the spiral of the Milky Way to the curl of a fern, moves in rhythm. This is not chaos. It is choreography, an ancient dance, and you, whether you know it or not, have always been part of it. You were born into the rhythm like a note in a symphony already playing. Your breath follows it, your emotions ride its currents, and your destiny is shaped by its cadence. The Hermetic masters called this the law of rhythm, the idea that everything rises and falls, advances and retreats according to a cosmic pattern. But this rhythm is not only written in the stars. It lingers in memories, in déjà vu, in the strange ache we feel when we watch the sun set or hear an old song. It's nostalgia for something we cannot name, a mystery half remembered. The rhythm is calling us to remember that nothing truly begins or ends. All things move, return, and are reborn. To live in tune with this ancient dance is to walk not against the flow of the universe, but within its current, graceful, awakened, and at peace with the rise and fall of all things. Life moves in echoes, in waves that lap at the shores of our souls, always returning, never the same. Every joy we feel is a crest, a high point in the rhythm, and every sorrow a valley that carves depth into our being. The Hermetic law of rhythm reminds us, nothing stands still. What once bloomed will wither, and what once broke will heal. Yet this is not a warning, it's a comfort. Just as the ocean rises and retreats, just as day surrenders to night and night to dawn, our lives move in sacred symmetry. The rhythm is not chaos. It is memory, a silent whisper from the soul's deeper knowing, echoing through every season of our lives. When love fades or luck turns, we grieve not only the loss, but the loss of the rhythm we had come to trust. Yet the wave always returns. This is the mystery. Every ending carries the seed of a beginning. Every fall holds the promise of flight. Life doesn't punish or reward. It moves. It breathes. And in this motion is meaning. To live in rhythm is to surrender the illusion of permanence and embrace the beauty of becoming. You are not the peak, nor the plunge. You are the tide itself, flowing, changing, alive. So when you find yourself in sorrow, remember, it is the undertow before the rise. And when joy visits you, let it fill you, but don't grasp. Everything is returning. Everything is rhythm. There is a hidden compass woven into the fabric of existence, subtle, silent, yet unfailing. It is rhythm, the ancient code beneath all movement, guiding not just the stars, but the quiet workings of your own life. Most never see it, yet leaves fingerprints everywhere, in the timing of events, in the repetition of feelings. In the uncanny way life seems to loop, patterns repeating like echoes from some unseen metronome. This rhythm is not loud. It doesn't demand attention. It hums beneath the chaos, a soft drumbeat that only the attentive can hear. But once you begin to notice it, truly notice, the world changes. Coincidences begin to shimmer with meaning. Setbacks feel less cruel and more like pauses in a song you haven't finished hearing. That missed opportunity? Perhaps it wasn't lost, only delayed until the rhythm brings it back around. The Hermetic wisdom teaches that if we observe these cycles, we stop being tossed by life and start navigating it. The mysterious thing is the rhythm speaks not just through events, but through intuition, the quiet knowing that rises when logic fails. Like the tide, it pulls us toward what we need before we even understand why. Trust it. Follow the signs. When a moment feels off, pause. When it feels right, leap. Rhythm is your compass, not made of steel, but of spirit. And it always points home, to balance, to meaning, to the mysterious center of all becoming. Nature is not just scenery, is scripture, written in a forgotten language. Every falling leaf, every shifting tide, every changing season whispers truths older than any book. The Hermetic law of rhythm lives in these natural cycles, not as theory, but as rhythm made flesh. Spring arrives not because the calendar says so, but because life remembers. Flowers bloom, not randomly, but in time with a pulse that flows through roots and stars alike. The moon, in her quiet watchfulness, tugs the oceans, stirs the dreams of men, and reminds us that even silence has a rhythm. The sun doesn't just rise, it returns faithfully like a lover keeping a promise. Look closer, and you'll see that nature doesn't rush, yet nothing is left undone. Trees stretch upward in slow reverence. Rivers carve stone with patience. Even decay, even death, plays its part in the dance, making room for rebirth. We forget this. We hurry, resist, collapse at the first sign of winter in our lives. But the forest does not fear the cold. It simply waits, knowing spring will come again. To live in harmony with this rhythm is to step out of the mechanical world and into the sacred. It's to realize that you too are a season, not always blooming, not always bright, but always becoming. Let nature be your teacher. Walk slower, watch the sky, listen to the wind. For in those quiet rhythms, the mystery of the cosmos is speaking directly to your soul. Emotions, too, move with the tides, rising like moon-pulled waves, then slipping away into silence. They are not flaws or malfunctions, but part of the sacred rhythm that governs all things. One moment, joy lights your heart like sunrise breaking over a dark sea. The next, sorrow drapes you in stillness. A heavy fog that asks you to feel deeply, to pause. This is not disorder, this is rhythm in motion. Just as the sea cannot remain at high tide forever, neither can the soul remain in one emotional state without imbalance. The Hermetic law of rhythm teaches us that our inner world mirrors the cosmos. Emotions are weather systems of the heart, unpredictable perhaps, but never random. Most of us try to hold on to joy, grasping it like water in our hands, only to feel it slip through. Or we resist sorrow, drowning in it rather than letting it pass. But the wise understand, both are visitors, not permanent residents. Joy will fade, and that is okay. Sorrow will lift, and that is inevitable. When you begin to watch your emotions as you would the passing sky, without judgment, without clinging, something shifts. You realize you are not the storm. You are the sky behind it. Deep, unchanging, vast. Let your emotions move. Let them teach you. And when you feel the pendulum swing, do not fear. Is the rhythm reminding you that you are alive, connected, and endlessly part of something greater than yourself? The pendulum swings, always, not as a threat, but as a reminder that balance is born through motion. The law of rhythm, as the Hermetic masters taught, is not a cruel trick of fate, but the very heartbeat of the cosmos. Every high is matched by a low, every ascent mirrored by descent. This is compensation, not punishment, but precision. When the pendulum swings far to the right, it must, in time, swing just as far to the left. And so it goes, in your fortune and your failure, in your delight and your despair. But there is something profoundly mysterious here. This balancing is sacred. It ensures that life does not spiral into chaos, but into harmony. What you enjoy today may be the fruit of sorrow endured long ago. What you suffer now may be the price of a joy yet to come. In this way, nothing is ever wasted. Not pain, not loss, not longing. The scales always tip, and they always return. Hermetic wisdom tells us, embrace both sides. Let the light warm you, but do not worship it. Let the shadow teach you, but do not fear it. For in every pendulum swing, the universe keeps its promise that no state is eternal and all things find their balance. And you, dear soul, are not lost in the motion, but shaped by it, like a blade tempered in fire or a star born of collapse. This is the mystery of rhythm. It refines us, Some say the universe is expanding, others that it will one day collapse. But the mystics have always known it is breathing. Inhale, exhale, the rise of stars, the fall of empires, the flutter of your pulse, all are echoes of the same divine breath. The Hermetic teachings call this rhythm the breath of God, a sacred inhalation and exhalation that gave birth to the cosmos and will one day draw it back to its source. You were born in the exhale, a spark sent drifting into time. One day, you will return in the inhale, folded gently back into the mystery. But even now, with every breath you take, you are participating in this ancient rhythm. It is not far, it is within. Each rise of the chest is a reminder. You are part of something infinite. The heart beats not just to sustain life, but to mirror the pulse of the stars. The breath is not just air, it is memory. To breathe consciously is to remember the rhythm you came from, the rhythm you are. So when life feels overwhelming, when silence surrounds you, or joy feels fleeting, return to the breath. It is the thread that connects you to the all. No doctrine, no temple, no scripture is needed, only breath. Inhale, you are alive. Exhale, you are eternal. The rhythm continues, quiet and unseen. And in that sacred pause between breaths, you might just hear the whisper of creation itself. Nothing is ever truly lost, only transformed, only waiting. This is the quiet truth behind the law of rhythm. That life is not a straight line, but a sacred circle, a wheel that never stops turning. Joy doesn't disappear. It retreats to make space for reflection. Sorrow doesn't last. It softens into wisdom. And everything we experience, the gains and the griefs, the radiant moments and the ruined ones, is part of a cycle more ancient than memory. The Hermetic sages spoke of this with reverence, understanding that what we endure today might be the echo of a forgotten debt, or the seed of a joy not yet bloomed. There is mystery in that, a hidden justice, not the justice of courts and scales, but of spirit and soul. Perhaps the happiness you feel now is the light earned in a shadowed chapter of another life. Or the pain you carry is not a punishment, but a purification. In this rhythm, nothing is wasted. What is broken is composted into growth. What is taken will one day return, perhaps not in the form you expect, but always in balance. To live with this awareness is to stop fearing the fall, to stop clinging to the peak. Instead, you learn to ride the circle with grace. You learn to trust the invisible hands of rhythm, shaping your path through time. And most of all, you learn to wait, not with despair, but with the deep knowing that everything in time returns. The secret is not to stop the pendulum, but to stop swinging with it. In the Hermetic tradition, the master is not one who avoids emotion, but one who does not become enslaved by its rhythm. Life will always move from laughter to silence, from triumph to defeat, but wisdom lives at the center, where the movement is still. Imagine yourself not as the arc of the pendulum, but as the pivot, the unmoved mover. When joy comes, let it visit, but do not bind yourself to it. When sorrow arrives, let it teach, but do not mistake it for your identity. This is the sacred art of neutrality, not as apathy, but as higher presence. The moment you pause and witness your feelings, like clouds passing across the sky, you are no longer a prisoner of storm. You are the sky itself, vast, spacious, untouched. Emotional mastery begins with observation. Why am I feeling this? What is the rhythm behind it? These questions shift your awareness, pulling you from reactivity into presence. Like a calm sailor reading the stars, you no longer fear the tides. You work with them. The mystics call this the path of peace, not the absence of motion, but the ability to remain centered within it. And once you taste this stillness, this power to remain undisturbed, even in the wildest swing, you begin to live not as a reaction to life, but as a conscious, graceful participant in its eternal dance. Somewhere deep within you, beneath the noise of thought and the weight of memory, lies a forgotten melody, a song your soul has always known. It is the rhythm of the universe, the same pulse that turns the stars and stirs the oceans, quietly beating within your chest. The law of rhythm is not just a principle of the cosmos, it's the music of your becoming. Every cycle you've passed through, every rise and fall, every season of your life has been part of that melody. And when you begin to recognize its pattern, something miraculous happens. You remember that you are not lost in the noise. You are the harmony beneath it. That your sadness is not a failure, but a necessary verse in the greater song. That your joy is not an accident, but a chorus you were always meant to reach. To live in rhythm is to live as if life were sacred again, as if every sunset were a promise and every storm a passage. You no longer panic when the music slows or swells. You listen, you trust, and in this trust, nostalgia awakens. The soul's memory of a home beyond time, a wisdom beyond words. The rhythm doesn't just guide the stars, it calls you back to yourself. So listen closely, in the breath, in the pause, in the turning of the tide. Your true nature is singing. And when you finally hear it, you'll know you've always been part of the dance. In every breath, every heartbeat, every shift in joy or sorrow, the rhythm of the universe whispers its ancient truth, that all things rise and fall, move and return in perfect harmony. From the turning of the stars to the quiet tides of emotion, we are part of a cosmic dance older than time. By observing its pulse in nature, in memory, in silence, we reclaim what we've forgotten, that we are not separate from the rhythm. We are the rhythm. And in remembering, we find peace, purpose, and the sacred courage to move with life, not against it.